Hi, Meera Gadhia and I have done this project together, and the name of the project is Airtrip. So, if you can see that we have this as the login page, and so major challenges we faced for this project was first that we were doing in Laravel, which was taking most of our time in JSON, jQuery, and CSS and PHP, and so we realized that it would not be possible for us to complete the project on time. So we decided to move on to custom PHP. And so for the entire application has been designed in custom PHP. So in this project, basically we have two users, admin as customers. So customers can search for flights, book flights, and do the payment. And so when they search the flights and book the flights, they can have the round trip as well. So this was all about the scope of the project. Now what we did was that we used two APIs. One was the API which we use for searching the flight, which is Google API QPX, and one API we used was for payment, that is Stripe API. Now, so if you look, I have a database out here. So my database has stored procedures for update user, delete user, and insert users, and these are all my tables. And one of the view we have created, which we would be using it. And so I would show you that. So there's one user already in the database, which is admin. And so I'm logging in as admin. I would show you the functionality of new user register here later. First, I will complete this. So now if you can see, we have manage users, add a user, reports, and logout. So basically admin can manage users, that is edit, delete, or add a user, generate reports. So what admin does is basically looks out for the history of the booking, the traveler's information, etc. So we have all the queries in the reports. So all the complex queries has been done in the reports. Manage users would be done by Mira. I would explain add a user, reports, and then further on I would go on to the customer. So if you click on add a user, you would see that it hits the page add edit user.php. If I open add edit, so I can show you where the file is. So my file is in user, and if I open this file, so here you would see that I have called a stored procedure insert, and there is a stored procedure for accordingly update, which Mira would be explaining. So this is the stored procedure which has been used out here for adding a user. Now these fields, first name, email, and password, is mandatory fields. So the validations has been done for first name, email, and password. I will give one of the I will create one of the users out here. And I can give password as I want. Now so the user type can be admin or customer. Out here I would be choosing as customer. And so there is a user type, and when we fill in the information and select the user type, it directly hits the database. So once I save it, so it gives me all the users lists, and I can see the user I have added at the end. So that's Pari, which I added, and this delete operation edit user would be explained by Mira. This was one of the functionalities we did, add a user. Now if we go to reports, so there are 7 of the reports which we would be generating out here. One is list of booking between the flights. So now if you see, it hits book by users.php. So what is basically just doing is getting out the booking information according to the selection made by the date. So if I select 25th November out here, and if I select 30th November out here, and if I get the report, you would see that I have all the information, all the booking list from the date I have given to the date I have specified. So this would take out my first name, last name, email, address, country, state, city, and zip. And so the query for this has been written in book by users PHP, which I would just show you. So out here you can see there is a query which we have written for selecting all the booking information. Now next report which we have is list of connecting and direct flights. So this would list out all the connecting and direct flights which the user has booked. So if I select 25th November to 30th November, so it gives me all the list of the flights with all the information I require. So if you see this connecting departure airport code, it has the direct flight as well as the connecting flights. Now if I take you to the connecting and direct flights.php, so I will just show you quickly. So out here if you see, we have this complex query where we have the inner joins as well for taking out the list of connecting and direct flights. Now I will show you the third report. Third report is list of travelers. So we have all the traveler report from name, booking, date, and gender. So if I select out here, November 25th to 30th November, and if I get report, it will give me all the information out here. So it gives me the travelers list with the booking date and gender. And so if I check travelers per booking, so this has the query which gets all the information of the traveler. Now let's go to the next report. Next report is payment against booking. So if I have to, so this is joining basically payment and the booking table. So if I select from date and to date, if I get report, so you will see I have all the payments against the booking. So it has the users which has booked the flight with the payments and payment status. And so if I want to see this file, payment against booking, so this has the query which is running, and it is joining payment, booking, and users, and it's getting all the information which is required. Now let me walk you through to the next report. Next report is most used flights. So this gets the maximum flight which has been used and the number of times it has been visited. So I can take you to the most used flights. Out here, if you see, it has selected the number of times visited, and then there is a join between the flights and the routes, and then we have union all in the query for joining the flights and routes, and so on. We get the entire information of the most used flights. The next is successful versus failed payments. If you want to see, so there, if you see in the table, we have, if you see in the database, we have two tables. So one table, if you see, there is one payment fail and one is payment. So successful payment goes out here and failure payment goes out here. So if I select the date from 25th November to 30th November, all the reports would get pulled out. So here's all the successful and the failed payment, and this is all in the database. Then I would like to show you AirTrip statistics. So AirTrip statistics has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 queries running in this file, and you would see that we have queried average booking amount collected by user, highest booking by user, passive users, number of users by types, and male versus female travelers. All of this has been captured in AirTrip statistics report. So if you see, we have all the queries for this. First query being the average, taking out the average booking amount. The next is the selecting from this view. So as I told you in the beginning that we have created a view in the database. Here's one of the views, and we would be using that view to query. The next one counts the total number of admin and the customers. The next basically tells the passive users, and then next query tells about the total male and female. I would also like to show you one PHP for the report which I just missed, and that is the successful versus failed payment. And for that I would take you to user payment report.php. So here's what we have asked for. We take out the payment fail and the payment success from here. So this was all about the reports. If I log out and if I want to go to the new user register here, so a new user can already register here. If it's already registered, then it can go back to the previous page. For new register, it can again come back. So I have new customer going in, and these are all the mandatory fields which I'm filling in. So if I sign up out here, it takes me to process new user.php, and we have this facility that if you click here, it can take directly the customer to the search flights. So it takes directly customer to the search flights. Now the customer can search flights from here or log out and log in as different customer. So this was all about the admin. My next video would be all about the customers.